If you have $0 right now and it feels like you're starting life again from the scratch, if it feels like you're currently in bankruptcy, you're in a lot of debt, there is nothing to write home about your name, or you had it all and for some reason you made mistakes and fell back to zero or even the negative, I need you to hear something first. You are not a mistake. It's not a character flaw. It's a starting point. And the truth of the matter is, starting points are one of the greatest places you can be in life. Yes, starting all over from the scratch again. I know for some person it might be something of shameful, disgraceful, but no, if you're starting and rebuilding wealth from the scratch, or you feel like your life has been going zigzag and you've not really had anything solid, then this video is for you. Take it from somebody who has lost her business. I lost my business. I lost my company. I lost my job. I lost every single thing. I was in a lot of debt and I had to start rebuilding from the scratch again. So in today's video, I'm going to tell you exactly how you can rebuild wealth, your life from the scratch. Real step on how you can be able to start all over on a blank slate again and a real plan. So stick around. So let's get right into it. Now, before I talk about the financial step, before I tell you, go get a job, go start a business, do this so that you can be able to make money, let's talk about the real foundation. Because one of the things I discovered along my journey was that the foundation is where people actually miss it. For a very long time, when I used to listen to people speak, when they tell me that sometimes this thing has to do with your mind, I wonder, what exactly does the mind have to do with making money? I read a book called The Wealthy Body, and before writing that book, I asked myself that what does your body has to do with wealth? Until I discovered that it has everything to do with it. So let's start with the mindset foundation. Let's talk about your relationship with money. Let's be honest. 99% of us have a very bad relationship with money. I know I did. Because growing up in a family where you see them struggle, and this is the major reason why you see the rich getting richer. Because the environment they grew up in, the conversation that they heard is completely different from you that grew up in a household where you were barely getting by. Even if you guys had some money, probably you were middle class, right? So one thing I've learned is before any single physical strategy, you need to work on your relationship with money. I said something one day and I said many people do not have what it takes to be able to actually build wealth. They are asking God, please bless me with $1 million, bless me with $100,000, but they cannot handle it because for so long, since you were 5, you have been trained on how to be able to think about money. And whether you recognize it or not, subconsciously, these things are what is controlling your adulthood right now, like a mini programming software, right? So most times, before you think about any single strategy and sabotage yourself, because I made this mistake as well too, before you think about any single strategy, fix your money belief that is broken. And I'm not talking about some just confessing affirmation and then you confess money comes to me easily and effortlessly and then it feels really empty. Let's get to the root cause of it. I won't go so deep into this video, but I'm just going to brush through on the surface. What did you believe about money when you were growing up? What did you hear your parents or your guardians say to you about money? What did you see money as when it has to do with a large sum of money? Can your nervous system be able to handle the amount of money you are currently praying for right now? Have you built yourself to be able to have capacity? Because when you do not build yourself to get capacity, let me tell you what happens. Even when the wealth comes, there will be logically explainable circumstances that will take that money from your hands. I've seen it happen time and time again. Do you believe wealthy people are greedy? Do you believe that wealth is limited, so I have to scratch and I have to beg to be able to get it? Because if you truly believe that money is abundant, there are some things that you would not stress yourself doing. Do you feel guilty when somebody gives you money? Do you feel guilty when you spend money on yourself? I know I did for a very long time. I find it very difficult to take care of myself and I love taking care of other people. Do you minimize your financial goal because it looks too much? Do you tell yourself, I struggle with this for a while because my partner will say to me, let's aim for $10 million. And I'll be like, $10 million? Why are we aiming for $10 million? Like because for a long time, you are probably around people, you grew up in houses where money was being managed, where your parents constantly say to you, money doesn't grow on trees. You have to suffer before you can be able to get money. If you don't struggle, there's no money for you. And so you heard that conversation, or you grew up in a home where it made it look like, oh, those rich people, they are wicked, they are greedy, they are terrible. Nobody gets rich on clean hands. And so you believe that thing. And so when you yourself are some little amount of money here and there, those things are already ingrained into your subconscious mind. And guess what? It is running your complete money programming. It is subconsciously running bank account. It doesn't matter even if you get a promotion at work, you get a profit in business, these things has a way of sabotaging you. You grew up in a home where it looks like it was a struggle. So you have to, before we go into strategy, if we are rebuilding from the scratch, let's rewire our mindsets around money. Okay? If you've of those, you need to first of all work on it. I want you to do this right now for me. What are the things I believed about money when I was growing up? Money is not everything. Money cannot buy happiness. Oh, the rich also cry. I'm not saying all those are not true. Oh, rich people, wicked people. Oh, when suddenly he changed. So even if you're not saying it, you're indirectly saying to yourself, I don't want to get rich so that I'm not going to change. Let me tell you something about money and wealth. Money is an amplifier. It amplifies who you already are. And so if you are somebody who was broke before and you were a stingy person, sometimes poverty hides under a lot of covers. And so when you now eventually see these things, you cannot be able to, navigate. This is the first foundation. If you don't fix this thing, sometimes when people want to rebuild again, the next thing is, what's the next business strategy? That is not your goal. That is not what you are supposed to work on. What is it about money that I believe? Work on your nervous system. Before you start making confessions and saying I'm rich and all of that, many people make that confession, I'm rich, I'm wealthy. But deep down, your subconscious is saying we've forgotten how we grew up. And so if you do not tackle that, it will be very difficult for you to set daring goals, for you to take a risk, for you to be able to do what you're supposed to do to enable it to come to you physically. So if you're starting from the scratch, let's work on the mindset foundation. Now, after we have decided to work on our mindset, now mindset is not a sprint, it's a marathon. The first step is knowing that this false money beliefs exist and consciously making effort to make sure that you count. Anytime you find yourself thinking money is bad, rich people are evil, make sure you say a thought or say a word to counter that. Now, once you've done that, the next step for you is to what I call a money audit. If you're rebuilding from the scratch again, I'm not going to tell you budgeting. Am I saying budgeting is bad? No, budgeting is good. But there's something that I teach women, that I mentor women on when those women to move from their 9 to 5 to a business and all of that stuff. Now, this is what I teach you, and this is going to completely change your life. Doing a money audit, there's something I learned. If you're currently broke right now, there are chances are that you are receiving more than you are giving. And I'm going to explain. You get a clear picture of what is coming in and what is going out. No judgment to yourself. It's okay if you are a terrible spender. Someone like me, I love luxury. For a long time, I used to live in a condo, have all those expensive things. But when I got really grounded financially, I had to be sincere with myself of where exactly I am right now. Okay, the mistake made, the investment you did that you didn't do your proper research on, the businesses you started that failed, the job that, it's necessary step when you needed to make, or the job you did that you made a mistake while you were in the office and then you lost the job and you became stranded, you never had any emergency funds. Do a sincere audit of yourself. The very place that moves you forward is when you are sincere with yourself. There are two types of people you cannot bring down. One person is the person that knows exactly where he is. He's not trying to lie to himself. This is where I am. Look, I'm down to zero. This is exactly where I am right now. I made a mistake. I made a bad business decision. I'm down to zero. When you are being sincere with yourself like that, you got to be it. You are not lying to yourself. You're not trying to prove anything to anybody. Okay? So, do money or track everything. So this is something I learned from a mentor, and it changed my life completely. Chances are that you are giving more than you are receiving, and that is why you stay poor and broke. So track every dollar. So you go to after every day, if you can have a notebook or something, have something, track your giving and receiving. Today I went to Costco. I went to Costco. I bought toothpaste. I bought this. I bought that. I spent $100. I went out to buy food. I spent $200. I went out to do. I'm not now. All of those things are not bad in themselves. Okay, it's good. In as much as I gave today, in as much as I received today, I paid Costco money. Who actually paid me money? That sincere question will completely change your life. I paid somebody money. Costco got my money. I renewed my Netflix. Netflix got my money. I went to the store. I went to buy food. They got my money. Who paid me money today? And you see, many people, the only answer they have to that is maybe my job. And that's the major reason why it looks like things are very stuck. So do that money audit for the next 30 days and it will be to see how much is leaving you and very little is coming back. That's why it looks like things are very tough. Many people do not have an idea where their money is going to. Most people, I used to work in the bank, and some people print out their bank statements and they will look at me and they'll be like, I'm surprised. Did I spend this amount of money? You don't even know what goes in, what comes out. Sometimes people only get their bank statement only when they know they need it for something, let's say an immigration, or they want to use it to apply for something. They don't even know how much. If not for tax filing, some people won't even know how much they earn for the year. You just know that money comes in, money goes out. You cannot track. I'm not saying track every single thing. There's a level of wealth you get to. You don't even know what, but it's important that you give more than you receive, or it's at least let it be similar. You are giving people money every time. You are paying somebody every time. Who is paying you? Only your 9-to-5 job? That's why you cannot plan for a destination you can't see clearly. When you sit down and see this thing clearly, you know exactly where your money is going to and where money is coming from. That's for the next 30 days. Like we start, right? It's important you start building all this foundation first. So the next step we're going to talk about is the wealth building order of operation. So we've talked about the mindset, we talked about having a money audit. So we're going to talk about the practical aspect of things right now. Let's talk about the wealth building order of operation. Now, this one is super important, more practical, right? I'm going to let you know step by step. So step one is to have at least $1,000 emergency fund account. So I talked about the 5 bank account every woman should have, and every man too, by the way. But the most thing is that I talked about the freedom fund account. If you can watch that video, and that freedom fund account, it's also called an emergency fund account. Now, in as much as I said there are things that are caused by our mistakes and all of that, there are times that you cannot be too careful. There are things that are beyond your control. For example, when my dad was sick with cancer, it was something I could not control. So the best way to navigate that was, how can you be able to control it? How can you be able to manage it so it doesn't wreck you completely? There are times things happen. That life always happens. There are times that you did everything, you dotted your I's, you crossed your T's, and yet you lost that business deal, and yet they scammed you, and yet everything just turned upside down, and yet something happens, and then so the best way to navigate that is just to know how you can manage it. And that's why having an emergency fund is very important. So I'm not just talking about if you are from the scratch. I'm not saying load your account with $20,000 at once or load it with $6,000. Just have at least $1,000 there or $500 there for now. You're starting from zero. Just something small, something that notice maybe like there's a flat tire. It just from becoming a huge debt on you. Right? And I particularly in my other video, I won't go too much into that in this video. If you have like a bonus to something, it's move that to your emergency fund. Ideally, I usually say have at least 12 months. 12 months to build overnight. You just build it little by little. You get a huge amount of money. The thing is, as your income increase, until you have built 12 months of emergency fund, don't try to increase your lifestyle. I know it's very tempting, but try. Okay? Now the step, you have any form of debt, which most likely some persons are going to have, like I did, it's possible to have a plan on how you can be able to pay off that debt. It's usually these things can impact you long term. I did a complete video on that, on how you can be able to pay off your debt every single month, right? Because sometimes this debt have very ridiculous interest rates. But it can get to a point you get collection calls and they begin to garnish your those things that can impact you negatively. I did a full video on how you can be able to come out of debt, but then tackle it. Plan every month, $500 goes into paying off the debt. And trust me, you can pay off your debt completely. Now, the next step is to build a full emergency fund. So I talked about $1,000 emergency fund. Now you are going into the full, like give example, once you have money coming in, you get a bonus, you're expecting $5,000 in profit in business, you got $6,000, that extra $1,000 with your emergency fund. At least build 3 to 6 months. Ideally, for me personally, I usually say 12 months, to be honest. 12 months, 12 emergency fund, because it would, what emergency fund do, I call it my freedom fund. What it does is that it gives you peace of mind. It helps you walk away from things that are not serving you. It helps you walk away from that toxic relationship. It helps you walk away from that toxic job. It helps you walk away from that toxic client. It helps you make decisions because you know that things go haywire. You have something to fall back on. So build an emergency fund. Then the next step is start paying yourself, or what I call start investing. Many times we pay other people, right? Remember the analogy I gave where you're always giving more than you're receiving. We are paying other people. Be nice to yourself. Pay your, right? Even if $25 a month, 10% of what you earn, pay yourself, and you can invest that. Usually in yourself. I always believe in investing in yourself to become a better person. Am I saying investing in stocks is no good? Of course, I am a vivid stock investor, crypto investor. I believe much investing in all of these assets, in gold, crypto, stocks, all of that. But the first person is yours, because once you invest in yourself, it gives you the ability for you to be able to increase your income. And when it comes to investing, give yourself time, to be able to compound. Invest in yourself, because many people just focus on investing partially in stocks and they do it blindly. And by the time you're just saying, just do it, investing $25 a month is something. I always encourage you to start small. But if you improve yourself and you can now invest at $2,500 every month, the difference is clear, to be honest. The difference is really, really clear in yourself. And so we're going to go into the income side of wealth, which is very, very important. Yourself is very important, which brings me to the next one that I want to talk about very well, where you are building. There are sometimes you made mistake that you were not knowledgeable about. There's nothing wrong in starting from zero. Everything is wrong in when you are staying at that level. Wealth requires income growth. Forget about passive income right now. Forget about passive. I might say passive income is not good. No. But you have to build yourself to the part where you can grow. There's something I learned from Myron Golden. He said, there are chances that you can make $1 million before you're 65. The difference is that you're going to make it slowly. And so for so long, we have been taught that don't get rich quick. But we also teach people how not to get poor quickly, or how to get rich slowly. Because chances are that most people if you gather your income most times from age 25 to 65, you would have made almost $1 million. But the difference is the timing. Destiny is in time. And so if you want to fulfill your life destiny, it's important that you grow fast. I'm not trying to push you, but let's be honest with ourselves, right? Wealth requires income growth. I will say it again and again. Wealth, I want to become wealthy, will not happen by saving pennies in the bank. No. It's going to happen by the first thing, right? After you've worked on your mind, have those funds coming in, build yourself. Build your small business you're doing. How can we be able to scale it? What do we need to do to be able to improve this? Oh, Joy, I grew to become an executive. The problem is that people get satisfied too early. They feel like I'm just go by. If you have a life where it's just a normal paycheck, I don't want wealth, just paycheck, pay my bills, pay my mortgage, that's fine. But if you really want to live a life whereby you are not budgeting every penny, where you can go and you're not looking at your bank card and trying to, check every day, you can be able to give in thousands to charity and be a blessing. You have to grow your income. Your value is very important. People pay for value. Wealth is generated because you saw a problem and you're able to solve that problem at a larger scale. Either at a large scale that people are able to pay for it, or at a smaller scale that the few persons that can afford it see so much value in it that they are able to pay for it. So whether it's by asking for a raise or improving yourself in your career, whether it's by thinking of how to improve that business, whether it's by scaling, have an income growth strategy. This year, I want to get to 100K. How do I get to 100K? Next year, I want to get to 500K. How do we go to 500K? Other next year, I want to scale to 1 million. How do we do that? Those are questions you should be asking yourself. Build yourself to the path where income grows. I think it's possible to tell people all the time that, people build yourself to the path where income grows, because you have to know this. I'm going to cover much on income growth in the upcoming video, but manage money grown, money that you see that is money managed, money grown is what. So I want you to ask yourself, how can I become so valuable? Oh, I sing, I cook. How can I become so valuable that I can serve more people? That I can solve the problem of people? Because how is see a problem, you solve it. How you solve it, people pay you in exchange for it. There's a spiritual side of it. I'm not going to go into that today. But how can I become so good that people are going to want to learn from me? How can I become so good that they will want to give me the contracts? Now, there's a part for favor and all of that stuff, but beyond that, become so valuable. Build your income. Build of ways. How can I improve income? How can I be able to do all of these things? I always say something. When I did the video on, I said, God never leaves you stranded. There is always a jar of oil somewhere. There is always something that you can grow. So don't just be static. Don't just be, let's be seen as good. What will be, do not take a step. If you want to really grow wealth, you can't afford to grow wealth and not grow your income. I said something to someone, when it comes to paying off debt, don't take coffee, this one, don't eat outside. Those things are good. But wherever you have a debt of about 100K, and then you have the money, it's not the little that it's something. But what we fast. So you have a debt of 100K, and you grow yourself to the point where you're making about 500K every year. That money, it's paid off. Focus on developing yourself. How can I become better? What can I do? Who do I need to become so that this business can go? So that we stop playing at this level. I told my partner, I said, we can't afford to stay small, right? After we've built one of my companies, I said, at this point, let's look at how can we get to the next level. Smallness. Don't just sit down and cross your leg, right? So now you have the exact thing of what to do. I see your homework this week. Write down the money beliefs that you believe when you were growing up. Be honest with yourself. Some of you will say, don't worry, I confess. That's why you're confessing and look as if nothing is working. What are those money beliefs that you used to believe about? What are those beliefs you believe about money that is stopping you? Okay? Do a money audit. It will shock you. I promise you. How much is going out, how much are you receiving? Okay? And then, one at a time, start building your $1,000 emergency fund, and more importantly, develop yourself and grow your income. Alright? So I want you to comment below, what money habits are you committing to this month? Let me know. I'm going to see you guys in my next video. For now,